This always happens to me on this bike, which happens to be the hottest bike of the three that I own. And I left work early so I could avoid traffic. Here I am, 3:44 in the afternoon, sitting in stop and go traffic on a bike that wants to burn my family jewels. Awesome. Awesome. What's up, everyone? It's Derek with World Superbike Life, back with the Motovlog. I haven't done one of these in an awful long time. Typically because the routes that I have to take in between when I could do these motovlogs really sucks. Today is no different. Nevertheless, today's topic is Ducati's brand new V4 Panigale. I want to talk to you guys about that bike, what you think about its specs, the styling, what it means for World Superbike, and what it possibly means for some of its competitors. Are they worried? Do you think they're concerned with this bike coming out? Today I'm out on my 1199 Panigale. As you can see, I'm sitting in traffic, roasting my balls off. I don't know why this happens, but every time I take this bike out, I end up sitting in traffic. Always on the way home. I don't know why. Any other bike, I'm in the HOV lane here, or the high occupancy lane, and I'm just cruising along. I take this bike out, which is the hottest of the three bikes that I have. Literally, everything lower, below my waist is on fire right now because I'm simply not moving fast enough. But every time I take this bike out, for some reason, I'm sitting in traffic. I'm sitting in stop and go traffic. I don't know what it is. Just really, really bad luck. I have no idea. But I digress. Today I want to talk to you about Ducati's brand new V4 Panigale. They introduced the engine last month. They're going to introduce the entire bike next month at the EICMA show, I believe it's called, in Italy. But unless you've been living under a rock, you already know the specs and you've seen leaked, we'll call them leaked, spy photos and so forth. I love how they say it's leaked, the manufacturer's leaking photos of the bike. Yeah, right, just to build some hype around its unveiling, which Ducati does very, very well. Yes, look at that, an accident, a rear end accident, no less. We've never seen that before. Effing people, I tell you, they cannot drive. And then we got all these looky-loos. Look at this, opens right up, right after. Ooh, that Acura was effed. Nevertheless, back on topic here. So, the new engine is a 90-degree V4. It's going to be, the initial offering anyway, is going to be larger than the 1000cc limit of World Superbike. That is not the bike, obviously, or the engine that they will be competing with at the World Superbike level. We'll see an R in 2019, and it'll probably have similar specs. It will still, it'll be a 1000cc or 999cc 90-degree L4. It'll produce somewhere between 205 and 210 horsepower. It'll make more twist than anything else on the market. And it'll be super, super light so that it can compete with the likes of the Kawasaki's guys, their ZX-10, or if you're watching from across the pond, thank you, the ZX-10, Yamaha's R1, Honda's new CBR 1000 RRSP, Aprilia's RSV4RF, so forth and so on. In my opinion, this bike has the ability to be a game changer. Every now and then, we're fortunate enough to have a bike come along that resets the bar. Back in the day, it was Ducati's 916. Ducati came out with the GSXR 1000 back in the day that, changed the game completely. S1000RR that came out in 2009, 2010. Again, reset the bar and was a game changer for everyone. I think this bike has the ability to do that. I think Ducati was hoping that the current Panigale, the 1199, 1299, was the bike that can do that with all of its technologically advanced goodies. You know, the frameless chassis, the outgoing dry clutch in favor of the uni-slipper wet clutch. The bike is super light, so forth and so on. There's, you know, a million things. The bike is gorgeous and is technologically advanced. You could literally take everything off the engine and hang the engine on the wall in your living room, your office, wherever, and have it not sit out of place. It is a work of art. It is that good. However, it is proven to be, I wouldn't say uncompetitive. Certainly early on in its World Superbike life, it was probably uncompetitive because it still needed a little refining, a little bit more development. But the rules have changed. Bikes are closer to their production brothers, cousins, sisters, whatever you want to call it, more than they've ever been before. And to get that go fast goodie, some of that unobtainium on the bike in the World Superbike class, manufacturers have to put it on their street bikes. It has to be homologated into their street bikes, and they have to settle so many of them. So that's good for you and me, not always good for the manufacturer. But Ducati has, to say that they've been struggling with the Panigale platform is an understatement. With the Super Quattro engine, they took away some low-end grunt in favor of some high-end twist, and somehow, I don't know how, those guys over in Italy are a crazy bunch, but they've somehow managed to get a motorcycle engine with pistons the size of a small block Chevy V8 to spin at about 13,000 RPMs and not disintegrate and not self-destruct somehow. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. Unfortunately, that is still not enough to compete with the likes of the inline fours when it comes to big tracks and long straightaways. You know, it's not as bad as it used to be, but the you know, the likes of the BMWs, the R1s, and the dominant bike in the class right now, the ZX10 or ZX10, like I said for you guys across the pond, those bikes still walk the Panigale on the straight. A ZX10, S1000RR, an RSV4, a CBR, you name it, it can go in, it can brake just as late as any Panigale out there. It can carry as much mid-corner speed, and it can get on the throttle and get thrust out of the corner just as well. Now, those bikes spin up a lot faster to offset any deficiency that it may have in being down on torque to the Ducati. So all of Ducati's advantages have been wiped away. So Ducati keeps telling the World Superbike guys, the FIM guys, we need more displacement to be competitive. And those guys have pretty much said, nah, a 200cc advantage is what you get. What we will do is we will take away your throttle body sizing penalty and give you your full size of your throttle body back. However, as we've seen in the last 3 years, that simply is not enough. The likes of Chaz Davies and whomever his teammate is at the time this year, it's Marco Melandri, have found themselves having to ride extra hard to keep pace with those inline four guys, particularly the Kawasaki guys and Johnny Ray. And when you have a guy like Johnny Ray and Tom Sykes that are super consistent, well, maybe not Tom Sykes, but you have a guy like Johnny Ray that is not only fast, but probably the most consistent rider in the class. He can put his bike wherever he wants, whenever he wants. The guy always finishes on the podium. In fact, I think there was only one race, the last one here at Magny-Cours, where he clipped the rider that went down. I think that's the only race he didn't finish this year. Certainly the only race that he didn't finish on the podium. So that guy is typically finishing first or second. And when you have a guy that's that consistent and that fast, it's going to be really hard to beat him no matter what you put under a Ducati mounted rider. And Chaz has had to ride above his head or above the comfort levels or the abilities of the bike. And sometimes that has led to mechanical failures. Sometimes that has led to Chaz putting the bike on the ground and sacrificing a lot of points. And, you know, I've never been one to say, I told you so, but damn it, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. God bless Claudio Domenicali. I love the guy. He finally pulled the trigger and said, yeah, we're going to build a detuned version of our MotoGP engine. We're going to throw it into a World Superbike chassis. We're going to go World Superbike racing with it. God bless them. I love them. I said this years ago and got flamed for it, absolutely flamed for it, laughed at, and ignored on Ducati forums. And here we are a few years later, they're building the bike. We're going to get one. This is way overdue. Ducati could not continue to put time, money, and resources trying to make a competitive bike with the twin platform and just have it not produce results. You know, they're building $60,000 to $70,000 motorcycles that are not competitive performance-wise. Looks-wise, absolutely. Exclusivity, absolutely. But bang for your buck, performance for your dollar, they are still getting their asses spanked by the Japanese guys and other Europeans that are fielding a V4 or an inline 4 platform. To me, it was just common sense. But for whatever reason, I got flamed for saying that. For whatever reason, I said, they can't sustain this L-twin platform and expect to win races, expect to be competitive, and more importantly, expect their fans and their buyers to continue to spend premium amounts of money on a motorcycle that is not competitive. You're asking guys to spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, up to $5,000 or $6,000 more on a motorcycle that they can go elsewhere, spend less money, and get the same performance. Maybe not look as good, maybe not have the exclusivity that owning a Ducati buys you. However, when it comes to hitting the racetrack, when it comes to winning races and championships, a lot of manufacturers do it for a lot less money. And I thought it was going to be hard for Ducati to sustain that. And like I said, God bless Claudio Domenicali, he came to that realization and he said, you know what, we're going to take a detuned version of our class-stomping MotoGP 90-degree V4, and we're going to go racing with that thing. And we're finally getting one. So, again, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. I think this bike is going to be competitive right away. Absolutely, I think it's going to be competitive right away. So I'm really looking forward to that bike. What does that mean for some of its competitors? Well, I think, personally, I think Aprilia should be the manufacturer that is the most worried. For years now, Aprilia has cornered the market on 1000cc V4 sport bikes. If you wanted one, they were the only place in town that offered one, and that's where you had to go to get one. They will now no longer be, offer a unique bike. People, fans, buyers, what have you, will be able to go to Aprilia or Ducati to get a V4 leader bike. And Ducati, they like to put their engines in a number of things. So, and Claudio has already said that this is going to be a platform for a number of bikes. So we can expect to see a smaller displacement V4, probably in a smaller bike. We can probably expect it to see it in maybe a Hypermotard or a naked bike, or maybe even the Diavolo. Who knows? Claudio's a cool guy, crazy guy. He'll throw it probably in anything that they'll let him. So what does that mean for Aprilia? Well, that means less sales. Some of their sales are going to go directly to Ducati, and that's probably scary for them. So I guarantee you, there are a number of businessmen, there's a number crunchers, designers, engineers, reworking an all-new RSV4. If they're not, they should be, because as good as their current offering is, it is still 30 to like 40 pounds heavier than its competitors. Now, granted, it's making similar horsepower. It's super smooth. It has all of the safety features, all of the technology that you expect to have in a 1000cc premium sport bike. Auto blippers, auto upshift, lean angle sensors, traction control, ABS, you name it, it's got it. However, it's at a significant weight deficiency, and they got to figure out how to drop 30 to 40 pounds, hopefully probably more like 45 pounds, in order to be competitive with these other bikes. And when the V4 drops, man, that is going to be a direct comparison. Two Italian 1,000cc manufacturers with V4 engines. There are going to be a ton of shootouts between these two bikes. And unless, you know, Aprilia is coming out with an all-new bike, I think Ducati is going to win each and every one of those matchups. Let me know what you think. You know, I'm not sure, you know, the Kawasaki guys are too worried. They still have some time to come out with some new goodies before the V4 Panigale ever sees the track. But I guarantee you, Marco Melangi, in particular Chaz Davis, they probably can't wait for the bike. I know Chaz was super excited about this year. He was very optimistic, and unfortunately, it was more of the same this year that they did last year. Again, I'm not one to say I told you so, but I told you so. Last year, at the end of last year's Superbike season, when you know, Chaz was winning all those races, I think he won like 6 or 7 races in a row. Everybody at Ducati was happy. They had come out with a new, the now you know, standard exhaust on all of those Panigales from AK, where we got the dual exit exhaust that exits midway from under the rear of the bike. That allowed Ducati to be a little bit more easy to ride. The throttle, apparently, you know, throttle response was smoother, and you know, it didn't produce any more power, according to Chaz and the Ariba guys. But it allowed those guys to you know, ride the bike more aggressively. It was easier for them to ride, and I thought that was fantastic. However, I posted on the forum that, you know, this is great and everything, but the fact remains is that Johnny Ray doesn't have to race with Chaz Davis. Chaz Davis is not Johnny Ray's direct competition. At the time, Tom Sykes was. So Johnny Ray didn't have to worry about anything that Chaz was doing. Winning, losing, crashing, it didn't make any sense to Johnny Ray, because he had no chance of winning the title. He had literally no chance. I mean, you know, God forbid, Johnny Ray would have had to have gone down, crash, and not be able to finish the season for Chaz to have even a remote shot. So when I said that, you know, I said, you know, if things were different and Johnny Ray actually had to race with Chaz Davis, that, you know, these results might have been a little bit different. I didn't say they would be different. I said they might be different. I got flamed for that. And I said, okay, well, we're going to see, because the only thing that Ducati's done was come out with an updated exhaust, and they're going to be a bunch of new manufacturers. Oh, I should say new manufacturers, but they're going to be manufacturers back in this series with new offerings and better offerings. Kawasaki had made advancements and improvements to the ZX10, ZX10 for you guys across the pond. Aprilia was going to finally be back with a factory-supported team with the Milwaukee Aprilia's RSV4s ridden by Lorenzo Savadori and Eugene Labadie. Yamaha was going to have another year under its belt for its R1, and we know how good it can be, particularly over here on this side of the pond in the hands of Josh Hayes and Cameron Beaubier. Honda was, even though it was a brand new bike, they were going to be, you know, competing with their new CBR 1000 or RSP, whatever they want to call that damn thing. So there was going to be some stiff competition coming back and some new additions. And I felt if Ducati thought that they were going to be able to get away with an exhaust upgrade for this coming year and win a title, I thought, you know, they were kidding themselves. And I got flamed for saying that. And here we are, you know, we back up several weeks, you know, 4, 5, 6 weeks into the World Superbike series, and Chaz Davies finds himself down 50 points to Johnny Ray after like 5 races. Again, at that point, it's almost you put yourself in a hole that you can't dig out, because Johnny Ray is just so consistent. He's going to win or finish second, period. And if you're already down 50 points after the first, you know, 5 races, and that is a monumental task to ask anyone to dig themselves out of. But that was the case at the end of last year with Chaz Davis and Johnny Ray. Chaz was down a whole gang of points. I mean, 100 and some odd points I think he was down. And Johnny Ray didn't have to race with him. Tom Sykes was his direct competition, so he had to worry about what Sykes was doing, where Sykes was, and if you know, Davis got a jackrabbit start and jumped out to a big lead, and Ray felt that he had to, you know, ride a little bit above his comfort zone and possibly jeopardize a championship, he wasn't doing it. He backed down and finished second all day long and wrap up another title. You know, he's the only World Superbike rider to win 3 titles back to back to back. And there's a reason for that. I don't think it's because he's any faster than Chaz Davis. I think he's as fast as Chaz Davis, and I think he's way more consistent. And I think his bike and the performance of that ZX-10 allows him that consistency, allows him that comfort zone that I don't think that Chaz has. I don't think that the Aruba IT Ducati team has. I don't think Marco Melandri has. And I think the V4 Panigale will allow that. I think it will allow for him to be able to ride at that comfort level, and hopefully have the discipline and have the reserve to ride consistently like a Johnny Ray, to know that his bike will be good enough to win each and every weekend, and he doesn't have to ride outside of his comfort zone. So that is it for this motovlog. Add some comments. I love talking shop. I love talking motorcycles. So add some comments. I don't have a whole lot of subscribers. I don't do this for a living. I do this for fun. I do this because I want to. So I'd love to have just a conversation with you, good, bad, indifferent, about the bike, about the topic, this video, anything. Add some comments. Let's chop it up a little bit. I'm Derek. This is Euro Superbike Life. Have a good one.